Okay, everybody, this is my spoiler review of Your Honor Season 2, Episode 1, titled Part 11. So it's just rolling along right after the end of Season 1 with that title. And it has a new showrunner now who also wrote the episode, Joey Hartstone. He's replacing Peter Moffat, who's not involved with the show at all anymore. And this episode is directed by Peter Sollett. So I actually really like the tonal changes in this season already. I can almost say that this episode to me was better than any episode in season 1. They took away that score that gave me just such a headache. It just was annoying, the score in last season with all those high tones in it. And this season you already feel more grounded feeling it and a little less goofiness going on. So it really impressed me because to me this seemed like a show that they're really pushing it, trying to do a season 2 because it felt like it was wrapped with Adam dying at the end of last season. But they somehow made this even more interesting than season 1. So that's very impressive because it just felt like it was kind of going to be stretched no matter what. Sure, it feels that a bit, but it still is keeping me more intrigued than I actually thought. And it's interesting because this is confirmed as the final season, which I'm surprised they even announced because the reason they're clearly doing a season 2 is because Your Honor Season 1, whether you liked it or not, was a hit view-wise. And thanks to Bryan Cranston, of course, bringing people in. But he's one of those actors, I believe, who definitely sells in the TV format for sure. So they know that that's going to bring in for season 2. So I'm surprised they just already announced ending it at season 2. But we'll see how it ends and if it's satisfying enough. So I'm going to break my review into 2 parts. We'll start with everything going on with Michael first. Then we'll finish off with everybody else. So it's so interesting as we see with Michael that he is completely disheveled, broken man in prison now. And it's fascinating. You see how committed Bryan Cranston is already to this transformation physically for this representation of where Michael is at. We're seeing him literally get force-fed to survive because he's not even eating. It's also interesting we see he coughs up blood overnight, which of course is going to make you think of Walter White with cancer from Breaking Bad. So you wonder what is up with that. But this psychologist in the prison is talking about his will to live. Does he have a will to live? Talks about he has this tremendous loss, but he's also got to have this tremendous guilt. How many lives are on his hands that were innocent? And he has to explore the possibility to live with this loss and this guilt. Now, we'll see that Michael looks up at the light right before Rosie Perez's character, Olivia Delmont, walks in. This to me is just representing that there is hope and light for him because that's going to be set up with Rosie's character where she brings this option for him to have some redemption, some atonement for his sins. I already like this character of Olivia off the bat. I don't know if I totally trust her at the end of the day because, again, characters like this, they always have ulterior motives, but I do like she's a tragic Jets fan. I could totally relate to that. But she's offering him this chance to bring down the single greatest threat to New Orleans, which is the Baxter crime family. And she's like, you can atone for what you've done, or you can do it for the same reason I do, chasing the bad guys. But neither of those options will be enough for Michael, and she notices that. So what's interesting is we get a little flashback where things are kind of not totally chronological in this episode, where Nancy actually played the confession tapes for Olivia earlier, and this is him admitting to covering up for Adam and for Carlo Baxter. But you see, Olivia wants to keep these tapes hidden. She's looking at the bigger picture, and he's like, he is no good to me if Baxter thinks he's a snitch. So they actually had put him in jail, as she had alluded to, probably for tax evasion. But we'll also learn by the end of the episode, this confession included Michael saying Charlie helped him cover up that car situation. So that is what Olivia's gonna have to use at the end of the day to get Michael to actually do anything. He does not want to screw over his friend here, his friend's career, and send Charlie to jail. Now we'll see that Fia has been writing letters to Michael, and Fia Baxter to me is very similar to the character of Little Mo. Shout out Little Mo, the actor Keith M. He's a fan of the channel. Happy he has been promoted to series regular. Totally deserves it. Nice guy. Those two characters, though, to me, are going to be the characters in these corrupt crime families, are the ones that are going to be the ones that change things for the better. You already see Little Mo's protecting Eugene at the end of the day, and you see that Fia is questioning her family and what they do, questioning Jimmy. And I think with Fia, they're clearly setting up a story where she's going to learn more and more about her father, and he's not the man she actually believes he is. She's already questioning him and his decisions. So I do think that those are going to be the keys for Michael and Olivia taking down all this corruption in New Orleans is following the paths of Fia and Little Mo. And it's interesting because Charlie, we'll see as the episode goes on, is still doing corrupt things. So I think the weird thing is going to be, yes, he's doing this to protect Charlie, but maybe to change Michael at the end of the day and change his character from his past, he's going to actually have to maybe let Charlie go a bit and not follow corruption. Now, what was wild to me was this prison rodeo. He sees a flyer, Michael. So this is where he gets the idea to just any chance for him to commit suicide and have it, let's try getting killed by a bull here. And this is a real thing, prison rodeos, and they actually do happen in Louisiana. I just wish they made it a little more clear right away that they say it with the announcer, they say it with the man he's playing convict poker with, that this is voluntary and they do it for cash. I just wish they put it on the sign to make that more clear, so it didn't totally seem like a gladiator thing. But it's still a messed up thing in general, prison rodeos, because they make it like it's voluntary for these inmates, but it's not really when you have it that they're giving cash prizes. That's the incentive to get them to actually do this. And they have no training either put into these rings. But you see, he thinks of Adam before getting hit by this bull, thinking it's his last moments, but doesn't happen, doesn't work. But we'll see, as I mentioned before, that Olivia will successfully get Michael released, uses the Charlie angle to it, and that Fia is also writing a letter at the end to Michael again that he may not see about owing something to Adam. So we'll see what that's all about too. But it ends on a very exciting note with Michael getting out now, this broken man, setting up his redemption arc. And there's just, again, a much better score, especially throughout this end here with the piano. So let's go to everything else going on that's not Michael. So we jump right in, re-showing Eugene missing Carlo and then accidentally killing Adam. And that Eugene just booked it. And that Fia is shell-shocked. So that's the key. Again, once she finds out more about her father, remember, Jimmy Baxter was planning to kill Adam himself that night. So Fia's not going to like that if she ever finds it out, and she's going to have to find that out through Michael. Now, I really didn't think I'd be that interested in this war of Big Mo versus Jimmy Baxter, but they made it really enticing and really well done. It was written really well, and I like the chess game between the two of them, and that Big Mo is being smart, preventing all-out war here, and using to Jimmy Baxter the stupidity of Carlo and her own advantage to justify what Eugene did, right? Like that. These are just young men being impulsive. I didn't make this order for Eugene, and to calm Jimmy down. But what was so great about all this was it was really Gina Baxter who was encouraging Carlo to go do this stupid move, to go to the Desire territory with really no plan. So Gina is very impulsive. She wants revenge always. She's the one who ordered the house to be blown up of Eugene's family. And you see that Jimmy eventually yells at Carlo for being stupid here and then still saying, like, your plans, you have no ideas here. You're just saying to go back there. But it's really Gina who's the mastermind behind Carlo's actions here, and that's still not really seen by Jimmy yet. So that's going to be interesting, too, with this Jimmy and Gina divide and how they have different philosophies on how to handle things. But what's so interesting, too, is they made Charlie's story interesting, that he still has that crutch where he's worried about getting votes. So he's still willing to go along with Big Mo and this corrupt detective to change the body of Eugene, which is crazy. So it makes things really interesting. You wonder then, is Jimmy going to back off? He's definitely not going to buy that Desire's gang just shot Eugene themselves. So that's going to be interesting. And like I said, with Little Mo, he's going to be that character that is going to be the Fia type character on the Desire side, because he was really protecting Eugene, letting Eugene go, and lying to Big Mo saying he lost him, right? So Little Mo definitely has more of a moral compass than Big Mo. So what this premiere really did effectively to me was it set up me to be excited about episode 2. That's all I wanted here, because I wasn't excited about season 2. Well, guess what? Now I am watching this episode. I thought it was very well done. And why it makes me extra excited is because the way they set up all these other pieces that aren't Michael made me excited now to see episode 2. Okay, I can't wait to see Michael back in this game now, between this war between the Baxters and the Desire gang, and then what's he going to do with Charlie, and seeing Charlie still doing corrupt things, and then how that involves Olivia, and how that involves Nancy as well, because remember, Nancy's a very just character, and Nancy's already skeptical at Charlie in that last scene in her face, so there's a lot of moving pieces here. I'm excited to see how that goes. And I think our main players are going to be Little Mo, Fia, Jimmy, Gina, and Olivia, Nancy, and Michael. They're all going to be two sides here, and Charlie as well. It's a lot of people I'm naming, but I think they're going to make that divide clearly, where you're going to see corrupt people like Big Mo, Charlie, Jimmy still doing things, and Gina, but you'll see there's this Little Mo, Fia, and Michael, and Nancy kind of maybe going towards the other side, and Olivia, I still question. I think she'll be good, but maybe not. I feel like they're going to write a more complicated character than that. And I'm interested, too, what happened with this character of Lee, because remember, Eugene originally ran to get away and went to Lee's apartment and called her. She didn't answer. She knows a lot. So I wonder if she's going to be back this season. They haven't publicly announced at the time of filming this review her being in the season. So I'm a little curious, like, was the actress filming something else, or they just wanted to drop the character? But I'd like to see her come back, because she does know a lot, and I'd like to kind of honor that story. But I'm giving this one an 8.9. Let me know what you thought of the premiere. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of my reviews of Your Honor. I'll be reviewing every episode. Also going to try to do some interviews with the cast for the show this season. And I'm also going to be reviewing Last of Us, so make sure to subscribe. Please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more of me. And I'll see you next time.